Welcome. My name is Patty Sobelman, and I'm the head of school of Pines Montessori School in Kingwood, Texas. This is a presentation of the state of the school given on the 19th of October, 2016, before faculty, staff, and parents of Pines Montessori School. We hope you enjoy the presentation. What we do in our presentations each year is we reflect on the goals that we set for our school the previous year and set a course for the upcoming school year. So let's begin with last year's goals. Last year we spoke of updating the facilities for the campus. We also talked about increasing outdoor education as part of the curriculum of our Montessori school. We also talked about developing a Pines Gives Back plan, a program in which faculty and families can give back to the community. Increase communications. We spent some time talking about how to communicate our values, our programs, our goals with not only our families but with the community. And lastly, we spent some time talking about Adolescent Space and the focus of our school to serve this portion of our community in a more authentic way. So we'll start with updating the facilities. If you've been a member of Pines Montessori School or have had a chance to look online or visit our school, you'll see that we spent an incredible amount of time in the summer of 2016 updating our facilities. If you get a chance to visit our campus, a book lives in the office with this as its front cover, which is a photo album of the work that took place in the summer of 2016. The gentleman in the photo is Winston DeBlanc, and he was our general contractor for the summer. And he is speaking with a student, Sean, who was head of school for the day. And on the table in front of them are the master plan, the blueprints that helped us create our facilities the way they look now, which are amazing. And so part of what we did is we used this document over the past so many years to help guide us, a sense of timeless beauty, designing facilities for Montessori programs by Tim Selden. And so over the course of the past 6 years, we've made a very deliberate effort to build the classroom environments for the way that children learn and are economically feasible for our nonprofit. And so this renovation that took place this summer increased our toddler communities. We added a third toddler classroom, and that enables us to invite 17 more children to join us in our toddler community. We also reconfigured our primary communities to be the big, open classrooms that we have dreamt of and increased the opportunities for 8 more children to join us in primary. And then lastly, we reconfigured lower elementary to be the big open classroom that we had imagined, and that could increase the capacity in that classroom to invite 12 more students to join us in grades 1, 2, and 3. So what we did, our previous configuration for primary had the classrooms as small squares that were divided in the middle with a solid wall, and all of our bathrooms lived in an exterior hallway, which meant that children had to leave the classroom communities to use the bathroom, meaning that teachers must also at some point leave the classroom communities to supervise the children. And it often left our classrooms quite cramped when we know that the work of Montessori children requires laying on your tummy and kicking your feet and walking around and not disturbing each other's work. So this summer we took the same floor plan, the footprint of our school, and took out those middle walls and made our classrooms great big long rectangles Those bathrooms were then moved inside of the classrooms so that children can come and go by being supervised, but also by feeling very independent. This configuration also brought us room for that third toddler classroom and enabled us to reconfigure our office space to build another office, a more beautiful and functional teacher lounge, and a much needed adult bathroom in the office space. This also gave us the opportunity to take out all of the insulation and replace that, and the ventilation system for this entire building. We did a whole new floor and all new millwork and paint throughout the building. So very, very busy summer at Pines, summer of 2016. Here's just an example of what that looked like. So we concluded our school year on a Thursday, and on Friday morning, as we were driving up, basically the walls were coming down. And so demolition was very, very quick. And the people that helped do this work were amazing. Having all the toilets taken out, all the sinks taken out, these would all be replaced as they are now with child-sized toilets and child-sized sinks. During the entire process, Mr. Winston brought our elementary students into the process, so they understood why pipes looked different if the water was coming into the building or as opposed to the water going out of the building. Understanding what walls looked like behind what they were most familiar with, why some walls were purple because they would live next to water, and why other drywall was white. And so very safely and very thoughtfully, they were walked through the process so that we ended up looking like this when it was done. So this is an example of a primary classroom without the materials in yet, without the T-molding, as you see that blue tape. But this was just at the very end of the summer and just prior to the entire school returning, as they did on August 22nd. So, what happened to the kitchen? So one of the things we talked about last year was that we wanted to have a kitchen. And the first part of having a commercial kitchen, we thought, was hiring a chef. And we often say that we would rather have a chef and no kitchen than have a kitchen rather with no chef. So we still have Chef Liz, and she's doing such an amazing job. But the kitchen required some infrastructure that we are still working on. So this is a floor plan of the lower elementary building. You see where it says Classroom 1 at the top of the screen, that's what that community looks like now, having taken out that last wall and making it the great big space that we had imagined. They received the same flooring treatment that the main building received. In the bottom left-hand corner is the conceptual drawing for the kitchen. So the work that we've done toward the kitchen has been a feasibility study, inviting people in the industry of commercial cooking to look at our idea of using a little over 300 square feet to build a kitchen and ask them, was this going to work for what we wanted? Our goal is to eventually be able to cook our own meals on campus and have a curriculum of cooking connected to the curriculum in the classroom. And so this is the first part of that plan, was having an architect draw it out. Here's a little bit closer. There are two series of squares at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Those are three-part sinks. We want to have two sets of three-part sinks, one at a lower level so that children can still continue to use the sink, and another one at adult height. This will include a walk-in pantry, access to the laneway for food delivery, commercial refrigerator, stovetop, We are going to stay with electricity. We did do a feasibility study of bringing gas to the campus. Gas does live in our neighborhood, but it is across the street. Bringing it to the school was a cost that we didn't think was going to pay off for what we needed. So that's the beginning of it. Other things that happened this summer toward the delivery of having a kitchen is we needed to replace the piping to the school. So the sewer and the water supplies to the school needed to be switched out. So anytime you're on campus and you see brand new concrete poured on the sidewalks, that is because underneath it we did such things as this. We threaded many feet of brand new pipe under our building, under the street, under the sidewalks to get us ready. And so this also gets us really close to the place where a grease trap, once installed, is ready to plug right into that. So although we haven't seen the kitchen yet, many plans have gone into place. Also, what didn't make it into this presentation in a visual form, but we just now got approval from the board, is that the building to which the kitchen is housed will receive a brand new roof. And so one of the things that was discovered in the feasibility study was that putting in a new kitchen in a building that would probably be in the last couple years of the life expectancy of the roof would not be our best investment. So we are going to repair the roof. In addition to that, we need to upgrade the electrical in order to operate the refrigerator and the electric stove and oven system. And so a transformer will also be put in, and probably a new electric service. So a few more infrastructure pieces before we can move forward with the kitchen. But it is still very much an important part of our plan. All right, increasing outdoor education. This was a goal last year. We've taken a great step forward in that the Earth Connections position, which in the past few years, although very important to us, had been a part-time job, this position has been changed to a full-time job. And for families on our campus, I think that you will have noticed the difference in doubling the amount of time a person can connect the botany curriculum that lives inside of our classrooms with the gardens that are outside our classrooms. The raised beds that are at the bottom right-hand portion of your screen were funded through a grant from Whole Foods that we received last year. Monies from that grant are still currently being used to update the gardens. And the box pocket gardens, where you see the children in the upper left-hand corner, have just recently been replaced through those monies and through the efforts of our Montessori Madmen group, who partnered with Earth Connections on a day of service to replace those and make them more food grade so we can use those gardens to raise food. Other pictures of children that have picked oranges from the trees on our property, have juiced them, and have enjoyed them, as well as going to our shed to receive fresh potting soil. There's some seeds there as well. When you see children wearing these aprons on campus, then that's a sign that they are taking care of the earth. I'm very pleased with this program. You'll see from time to time that food will be available for families to take home. And so we've had things such as kale and lettuce, peppers, oranges, things like that have gone home with students because of their work in the garden. More to come there for sure. Another goal from last year was to develop the Pines Gives Back program. As a school that is 39 years old, we know that we have an important place in the community as a leader, as a small business and as a leader, as a nonprofit, and as a school. And so we want to find ways to give back to the community that has been so generous to us. One of the things that we did last year was that we partnered with Meals on Wheels for preschool children. And in doing so, our elementary students hosted a breakfast, a fundraising breakfast at Applebee's, of which 50% of the proceeds from that day went toward this program for our children to recognize that there are children who look and who are the exact same ages that they are, perhaps are not eating, made them aware that this was something that they could relate to. And so we're excited to continue that. Each Thanksgiving, locally, our families are very generous to send non-perishable foods to school, and through the St. Stephen's Society in Kingwood, we're able to donate a tremendous amount of food that is picked up the morning before our family's Thanksgiving feast. That's a beautiful tradition that we have continued for many, many years. Our newest collaboration is through Family Time. Family Time is a nonprofit in Humble operating a crisis and counseling center for over 20 years now. One of their needs that was recently made known to us is that they do have a crisis center or a child care center rather, for children in crisis whose parents are receiving information and support through the door. And so while these children are in some short-term care, their classroom is in need of being designed in such a way that would support children in crisis. And so we are very pleased to say that in beginning of November 2016, our school will partner with Door to help set a classroom environment that would be welcoming to children who are in crisis and transition, and also working with the volunteer staff in the child care center in order to give them some of the education that our teachers have received through Montessori. As a way for Family Time to give back to our staff, since their expertise is certainly in identifying and supporting children and families who are in crisis, they in turn will provide professional development to our teachers so that we can identify parents and children in crisis and be able to intervene and give the resources that they would need in real time. So we're very pleased that as part of this program and this collaboration, each one of us can give and receive. Increase communications, a goal from last year. We have discovered, as most people have, that in this age of lots of opportunities to communicate, that sometimes, despite our best efforts, we miss the mark in communications. And so we did ask our families over the course of last year's State of the School and in the interim to share with us the ways that they best like to receive information and how best to get that information to others. So one of the things that we worked on is going a little old school and making sure that paper flyers still continue to go home, and through our director of communications make these pop with colors and interest so that they don't get lost on the floorboard of the car, that they're small enough to be in the hand of a child and hung on a refrigerator. For as many things that go home electronically, it still feels nice to have a little flyer in your hand that helps you remember all the great things that's happening. We know that we are competing with a lot of noise and a lot of other activities, so we're very grateful when families do choose to do something with us through the school. In terms of electronic, we have spent an incredible amount of time making sure that our Facebook page is up to date, is bright, and is filled with information that people can read and share with each other. And so we invite you, if you are on Facebook and you enjoy receiving information that way, to friend us and to pass along what we're doing to others. It's amazing to see the people who comment on our Facebook page. We can see friends from the United States all the way to Poland and beyond, people who come back to our page time and time again, and it's nice to see that they like the work that we're doing. We're also increasing the things that we post on Twitter. And so if that's a way that you like to get information, please include us in that and pass on the messages that we are posting on our Twitter feed. We did spend a lot of time updating our own website. And so if you look at this page, under October 28th, you'll see a little icon. The word there says add. And if you are interested, you can click on that button. And what will happen is that our calendar feed will automatically be imported to your calendar. So if you use Outlook or something like that, our calendar will go there, and then you simply would just delete perhaps any programming that was not relevant to you and your family. But we do want you to know all of it, and this will scroll and update as each of the activities ages out. New activities will appear, and if you want to see the school year in its entirety, then just click on the View More News, and the entire school year will be there. As a parent of our school, you can be given, or you will rather be given, access to our parent community. This is a login system for just our parents, and so you'll log in the upper left-hand corner. And as a detail, you'll see under more upcoming events will be a full narrative of the events that are happening at the school. We know that we have families who have been at our school for 5 or 10 years, and so these are very familiar programming. But we also know that we have families that are brand new to Pines, and reading about this gives them the information that they need to know if they should come to this event or not. But nothing beats a phone call or a conversation with a teacher or a staff member. So if after reading these you still don't have the information that you need to make a decision to come or to not come, to participate or not, please do not hesitate to ask somebody. Some of our programs are brand new, and we're looking for ways to make them fun and relevant. Some we've done for many, many years, sometimes decades, and we're also looking for ways to keep them relevant. So please, if you read something, say something if you want more information or want to add to our calendar of events. We welcome that. An additional way that we are trying to communicate what we are doing at Pines is that we have just recently had our school videoed in 360 degrees. And so it is not yet on our website as of this broadcast, but I would invite you to go to Google. So simply type Pines Montessori in Google. It will bring this up. To the right, where you see our icon and the map below it, you're going to see an image of our school. If you click on that image, it will bring up a 360-degree view of our school. You can advance the arrow. It will take you through the office, the infant community, all 3 spaces. It will take you through toddlers, primary, lower, upper, middle, and all portions of our backyard. Please take a look at it, forward it to your friends. If people are considering Pines for their children, this is a great opportunity for them to peek inside. Sit down with your own children and look in the classrooms, and they can tell you what they see. We really enjoy having this as part of our way to communicate Pines to everyone. Last year's goals were to update Adolescent Space, so let's spend a moment with Dr. Maria Montessori in her book Childhood to Adolescence. She stated, "The adolescent must never be treated as a child, for that is a stage of life that he has surpassed. It is better to treat an adolescent as if he had greater value than he actually shows, than as if he had less, and let him feel that his merits and his self-respect are disregarded." So in that vein, we have set a goal of creating adult spaces, or adolescent spaces rather, that are preparing the adolescent for the adult to whom he will become. The configurations that we did the summer of 2016 prepared the environment for the child and the child that they will become. Our next venture is honoring the adolescent. So let's spend a couple of minutes talking about this transformation. So let's begin at our current campus. We live currently at 3535 Cedar Knolls. All four buildings, the main building, lower elementary, upper elementary, and the middle school that we currently have now, comprise about 22,000 square feet of children's community. This is an aerial shot of our school. The yellow arrow points to our current campus. You can see our playground in the background as well. This yellow arrow points to the lower elementary building. This will be the last aerial shot of that roof, for that is the roof that will be repaired, actually replaced very, very soon. This arrow points to upper elementary. That building was constructed and delivered to our campus, and we adore it. For a while, it was our aspirational space in that we built it as our model home for how all other classrooms would be designed. Great big open space. And then middle school moved here this summer because we took space from their classroom to expand lower elementary and also prepare the space that would soon to become the kitchen. So middle school lives here. So going back to lower elementary, let's take a peek inside that building. Inside that building last year looked like this. That light blue where middle school was, I just spoke, was given over to lower elementary. So in this configuration, lower elementary had just over 2,000 square feet. We, using that document referred to earlier, try to have 75 square feet per child. So this darker blue lower elementary space gave us room for 28 students. This was 2015, 2016. What we did this summer was again recapture some space from middle school, giving us space for about 40 students, and then putting that space aside at the bottom for the kitchen. Dining hall remains. Media remains, but we also moved some library in there this year. So this was after our reno this summer. These arrows say that that's where middle school used to be, and again that this is where the kitchen will move in the future. But looking ahead, in order for there to be additional room in the lower elementary building to accommodate any additional primary students in the future, what we want to prepare families for is that perhaps the dining hall must be sacrificed so that additional classroom space can be gained. So this is what that could look like. If the dining hall and the media room, which were in the lower middle, lower right-hand corner of this building, were to become additional lower elementary space, we would then be able to have a combination of 60 children in lower elementary. This would mean that just the dining room tables would then be sprinkled about the classrooms and that students would eat in their classroom community. And this is exactly how infants, toddlers, and primary students, as well as middle school students, eat. So elementary would just eat in their classrooms. So here's the configuration again. Now we could have 75 square feet, but that combination of the 40 students from the top space plus 20 students at the bottom space would give us 60 in total. So something to think about for the future. This is lovingly called the Quattro Wide of Knowledge, and this is upper elementary, just over 3,000 square feet. Keeping that 75 square feet in mind, this would give us 40 students, and that's the right size for that classroom community. And then our double wide of knowledge, which is currently middle school, that is just at 1,500 square feet. 100 square feet per child is what an adolescent environment is best prepared for. So this space could hold 15 students. We don't have that number right now, so it works, but I still think 15 students in this classroom would be quite tight. Which leads us to the building next door. That's the 3503 Cedar Knolls building, and it is a full building that in total is 5,600 square feet. It lives just west of our current school property. So to give you a hint at what that looks like, back to the aerial shot, this is our current campus. And we are proposing moving middle school to here. So as of September 1st, 2016, Pines Montessori School purchased this building, which, if you look at the aerial shot, is really our only opportunity to capture additional square footage for students. We cannot go north as there is all greenbelt. We cannot go east as greenbelt continues on the far side of our parking lot. To go south is residential. So after about 20 years of eyeballing this property and seeing it come up for sale and then go off the market again, we're very pleased to announce that we have purchased it. So let's take a look at the possibilities for this piece of property. This building's simplicity is two parts. There is a north part and a south part. It's 5,600 square feet in its entirety. And when we purchased it, the front part of the building looked like this. A building made of many, many small individual temporary walled office suites. And the back part of the building looked pretty much exactly the same. And so between September 1st and October 19th, we had the building completely gutted, and now just the shell of the building remains. The only thing in the middle of the building are the spots where the bathrooms once lived. So we've kept all of the sewer and water lines where they are. What we're proposing is that the 2,800 square feet in the front of the building be dedicated toward the adolescent, keeping that 100 square foot per student mantra going. We now can house 28 students, more than doubling what we could on our current campus. And the 2,800 square feet that are in the back of the building could be used for more flexible space that really is most desperately needed at the school. So an idea, if we look at the back part of the building, would be flexible space, but let's take a second to look at the front. We're just going to post here some conceptual drawings. So what if the middle school had flexible reading spaces, beautiful little nooks where students could come together and discuss? What if our middle school had classroom spaces that were flexible enough for a small group dialogue while still leaving the outside part available for students to move chairs around and group differently? And then big open spaces. We would love for this space to have the high ceilings that it already possesses, to keep the ceilings open so they will have no ceiling grid. We will spray in insulation very much like you'll see here, have exposed ductwork and some hanging light fixtures to give it a very urban learning incubator kind of space. The back part, kind of a fuzzy detail here, is that we would like the very end of the building to be a very flexible space, probably have a wooden flooring treatment, have this space be available for indoor recess, for yoga, have it be a flexible space that perhaps lower elementary or upper elementary, if giving a play or a production, could have space for. There is also an exterior door to this space that would allow us the flexibility perhaps to being able to offer this space to the community. So that door could be access to the back of this building without us having to breach the prepared space for the adolescent in the front. So if a community group wanted to rent this space, which would come with a sink, a little small kitchen, a bathroom, then they could, and then we could leave the rest of our space prepared and protected. Our school does need storage, so we do see this building having some dedicated storage, and the spot that says "Don't Know Yet" could really be turned into a tinker space. We're really looking at the opportunity to provide, again, a flexible space that students who wanted an opportunity to see their work fully formed, a space where maybe they could have access to, who knows, a 3D printer, a kiln, sewing machines, art materials, something that they could use their creativity and have the space uninterrupted to do so. So some more inspirational images, but prefaced with another quote from Dr. Montessori. The chief symptom of adolescence is a state of expectation, a tendency toward creative work, and the need for strengthening of self-confidence. So look here, a great big open space, ability for children to move the tables around and to reimagine and have control over their environment. Maybe that tinker space could include having guest speakers come in to bring in their tools and their trade so our students can really have that hands-on knowledge that they need. So perhaps maybe an elective of a bicycle repair shop and understanding gears. I have been told that this exact photo is way too expensive, but I do enjoy that opportunity to look at what would it be like if a space was great, big, and open, where students again can move about. So inspiration comes in many places. This space we liked because, again, it shows that we can have small little conversations and allow flexibility on the outside. Perhaps walls and windows that we can write on, leave messages, and write hypotheses on. Another tinker space, a beautiful space that students can have access to computers and they can make models and they can clean and tidy up and start over again. How about that? Reclaiming pieces of wood, using unexpected pieces of materials. During the demolition of this building, we were able to reclaim all of the solid 9-foot tall doors that the building had. And so we are saving those so that students can make tables and make some shelving units very similar to this with this beautiful wood that came from the building. We love images like this and like this, and we invite anyone who has seen things like this to take pictures and send it to us. Our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students have embarked on a design group this year where every other week they meet for 2 hours to start understanding design. and learning what it will take to get the building the way we want it. And so their suggestions are coming to us as we step through this project. So Dr. Montessori said independence in the case of the adolescents has to be acquired on a different plane, for theirs is the economic independence in the field of society. Here, too, the principle of help me do it alone ought to be applied. It is familiar to many of us, the battle cry of the young child, which is help me do it myself. But now the battle cry of the adolescent is help me do it alone. So one of the ways, although they can't do it alone, one of the ways that the adolescent can be independent is by getting off campus. And so this past school year, our school was very fortunate to have received this gift. This is a beautiful transportation vehicle donated by a family at our school. You may not have seen it at Pines because we are housing it with a friend of the school who has property and who can drive it around and keep it healthy while we are getting our ducks in a row to use it. The students are excited about it, so here is an example of them crawling around in it. What we most are in need of now is collecting a small list of adults to which have a CDL, which is a commercial driver's license. This vehicle is just a bit too big for a conventional driver's license. Once we build this list, then we'll be able to call upon people thoughtfully and gratefully to drive our students around town. What is important to the adolescent and the pre-adolescent is very soon after they learn a concept, they really do need to get off campus and see that concept in action. That fight or flight of who are you to tell me this and when am I ever going to use that needs to be answered quickly. Locking children up in a school for 2 or 3 years or longer and saying one day you're going to need this is not fair. Their great big meaningful work lies outside of our school walls, and this bus will get them there. We just need to build that collection of adults with a CDL. So if you are interested in taking that and being a part of this team, or you know someone in the community who has one, who perhaps has the flexibility to take students places, we would love to hear from you. This is a great, big, important part of our adolescent program, and I assure you they will be sitting in the seats with seatbelts on if you choose to take on this work. Another big part that makes our program work is that we are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, and this year we just went through our 5-year re-accreditation. Why this is so important is that it sends our adolescents off with transcripts to the high school of their choice, and those transcripts are then articulated very easily into any public or private high school that students may choose to go to. Our students are now testing out of Algebra 1 and Spanish 1. We had a student receive an academic scholarship into their freshman year at a private high school. And this year, for the first time, we are sending students who have gone through our middle school into college. And so we will be able to soon report to you what our college students are doing, having gone through our adolescent program. And so that's what the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Accreditation does for our program. So this is a wrap-up of what we've done in the past. We are going to continue these goals, as many of them have not changed. But the way we fulfill these goals is through the types of things that have kept us going strong for the past 40 years. So our anniversary will be the school year that will begin August 2017 will put us at our 40th year. We will continue looking for new opportunities to fulfill the dreams of Dr. Maria Montessori, both within Pines, within our community, and within the world. We invite you to read our annual appreciation report for some of the things that our school has done worldwide. Many of you know of our collaboration and friendship with Montessori schools, specifically in Poland, as we have developed some deep relationships there. But those works take place through the generosity of our families. And one of the next opportunities for us to support the school is through our 7th annual Snowball Run. This fun run, one 5K and a little 50-yard dash, takes place at our school. It's the first Saturday of December each year. The money from this run goes to support the Infinity Science Park, which is our backyard, which is now celebrating its 10th anniversary in the community. We built it to be available to the members of the community in addition to our school family. It is available after school, which is 6:30 p.m., on weekends and days that we're closed to anyone in the community until dusk. And we're very proud of it, and that's where the proceeds of this goes toward. The next big thing on our list of things to do is our spring gala, and this will be our 26th annual. It will take place on the first Saturday in May at Kingwood Country Club. This year's theme is called Garden of Dreams, ties in very nicely to our Earth connections and to the dreams that we have for Pines for the next 40 years. Please, if you have not attended, find someone who has. We want everyone in our school to attend, but we also want you to understand how important it is for you to invite your colleagues, your neighbors, your family, extended and intimate, to come to this evening. This is our single largest fundraiser. This does for Pines what tuition alone cannot. We are a raging nonprofit school, and the types of moves that we are making to expand Pines, to invite as many families as possible and reach out to the community could never be fully recognized just with tuition. And so that's where the money from the gala goes. And so we're very grateful for that and ask you to already put that on your calendar. And then finally, this aspirational little bit here. We chose this one because it says, if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. And I have to tell you that the strategic moves that we're making under the guidance of our amazing Board of Trustees, with the support of the staff and the faculty, as talented as they are, buying buildings, building buildings, reconstructing buildings, these types of moves are scary to us. This is not what we went to school for. We are depending on some amazing people in the community to guide us and act as stewards in this. We do this all because we are passionate about Dr. Maria Montessori's vision for the school, for children and for mankind. These big moves do scare us, but the dreams of what we see for the future of Pines and for humanity through your children keep us going. We are very grateful. We ask again that you come to us with any of your ideas or dreams of your own so that we can incorporate those. It's been a pleasure to go through this slideshow with you. We hope that next year you get to hear it live. Only in the live presentation do you hear what other family members are saying and listen to those conversations. We understand that there's a lot competing for our time nowadays. Just the opportunity to speak to you this way was a gift. We thank you. Please consider Pines in your charitable giving each year and enjoy what we have prepared for you and your children. Thank you, and see you next year.